2021, the Springboks secured the Lions series in the final few minutes. Toulouse conquered Europe for a fifth time, and Peter O'Mahony got a red card against Wales. However, in amongst all the tries and tackles, the upstanding shows of rugby's core morals and values, this was a year in which some rugby was played by some people. And now, in order to celebrate the best of that rugby and the best of those people returning for its fourth year, that's right, after a full World Cup cycle, it's time for the Squidge Rugby Team of the Year. Now, before I run through the 15 from fullback to loosehead, 15 to 1, group by position, day by day, it's worth running through the criteria. This is not a World 15. It's not a list of the best players on the planet circa 2021. It's a team of people who performed best in the year just gone. Those who went above and beyond, and in some cases, those who just made us feel the most. Those who worked their socks off and deserved recognition. This team is selected on all levels of rugby, but weighted more heavily towards internationals. So, say, if you're great for your club, but anonymous for the Lions, maybe, and scarcely played for England in the last few years, your chances of making the team are slimmer than someone who was, say, world-class test level, but in what I'll call the Sam Warburton gambit, anonymous for their club. There's also been a weird revisionist history going on around a few players who finished the year well, but play below their standards earlier on. This team is picked on the entire 12 months, not for, say, 4 good games. Tom Curry, in last year's team, for example, exhibited career worst form in the Six Nations, then picked it up on the Lions tour and was exceptional in the autumn. Roman Untermack also made 2020's team, but missed most of the Six Nations injured, didn't play for France in the summer, then slotted in at centre for most of the autumn. I never forget. So will their recent performances be enough to earn them a spot in the side? We'll be finding out over the next 6 days as we run backwards through the team. And yes, this covers all 15s rugby. That's men's and women's, and it has done for 3 years now. It's a mixed gender team, and if you don't like it, grow the hell up. And with that, it's time to kick things off with the best big jump in the air and knock it on under a high ball, boys, of 2021. It's the back three of the year. You'd think scoring the decisive try in the Rugby World Cup final would be enough. Yet that was never going to be the case for Makazoli Mapimpi. He somehow left that World Cup underrated, viewed as a great finisher who was excelling as part of a system rather than the unequivocal spectacular talent that we can see now he is. But the most surprising part is not how the media responded to his Yokohama heroics, but how he did himself. Makazoli Mapimpi is now 31 and 2 years on from achieving the thing that everyone who's ever picked up a rugby ball has dreamt of doing, and yet he still keeps getting better. Mapimpi started the year a better player than he was when he last put on a Springbok shirt, and he finished it a better player than he was at the start. Any weakness in his game from when he won his first cap have not only disappeared, but become outright strengths. His finishing was always spectacular and his work rate enormous, but Mapimpi has now overtaken Josh Adams to be the best winger in the world at chasing kicks. He's probably top 3 under the high ball. His defence is stellar. However, the biggest addition to his game this year has been the addition of support lines, not a feature of his game previously, now resulting in constant tries awarded or otherwise. There were no doubts over Mapimpi making this 15, and the way he's going, it won't be the last time he does so either. Will Jordan scored 15 tries this year. 15 tries in a single calendar year. Now, he's a kid with magic touch and an ability to pull shit that should be impossible from the smallest hair of his arse, never mind the hole itself. But let's just take a second to talk about that try-scoring record itself. It stands as the second highest total of tries anybody's ever scored in a single calendar year, averaging 1.36 tries a game. His 17 tries in a 16-month international career is the same number Liam Williams, a world-class player, has scored over 79 games since his debut in 2012. It will put him in the all-time top 5 try scorers category for Italy, Fiji, USA, Canada, Romania, Samoa and Uruguay, and make him joint first for Tonga. It's a genuinely stupid tally, and whilst a fair few of them came in the pointless, well done his 13 cup matches against Tonga's Z team in the MLR All-Stars 15, who were too busy wondering whether there should be Panthers on motorbikes to bother tackling. There are so many moments worth including where he made world-class opposition look like they were bricklayers turning out for Tonga in an unfair contest. Will Jordan is a phenomenon who hit a peak that we could kind of see coming in 2021 and showed no sign of backing down anytime soon. Number 15 was a very easy choice, a player nailed on all year. Aslan. No, for all the recency effect, bigging up players who had 4 spectacular games. For some strange reason, people have started sleeping on what an incredible year Stuart Hogg has had. He was career best all Six Nations. His defence and kicking game decisive against England and France. 2 huge wins, his 2 tries also keeping Scotland in the hunt against Wales, and he even got a run out at 10 against Italy. Hogg's transformation of late has been really interesting. He's always been incredibly driven and has rounded out his game. There are those who would have you believe he's poor in defence or met under the high ball, but that's all utter bollocks. Hogg is as complete and well-rounded a 15 as you'll see. No weaknesses in his game. But he's also really adapted to the position. There's a new trend, vogue, for big 15s, massive lads at the back who can smash the ball back because there's rarely any space on the counter-attack anymore. So the smartest thing is to crash it up and look to attack phase 2 or 3. Hope the defence aligns slowly, and Hogg has bulked up to meet the trend before it became widespread, adding a more physical component to his game that just sums up his approach to playing rugby. Stuart Hogg wants to be whatever the perfect fullback is for the time he's playing, and it's a quest for perfection that took him to this. The moment he's been chasing his entire career. The moment he became Scotland's record try scorer of all time. Admittedly, an achievement that only requires 7 more tries than Will Jordan has achieved so far in his 16-month international career. Jesus Christ. 2 meh games for the Lions do not spoil what has been a phenomenal, excellent, very, very wonderful year for Stuart Hogg. As far as honourable mentions go, nobody came as close, agonisingly so, as England and Wasps' Abby Dow. Dow is one of those players who just makes rugby look easy, scoring screamers from everywhere and anywhere on the pitch. She has a touch of magic that makes her so thrilling to watch, almost as essential viewing as her Twitter, which is the, I hesitate to say funniest, but certainly the punniest account you see from any rugby player out there. A world-class winger, addicted to puns so dry your dad would groan. What's not to like? Dylan van der Merwe also got very close. He started this year as a mad runaway train without any breaks, but a sense of discipline and defence have entered his game as the years progressed. The liability elements being sanded off his game without losing the jumbo-size X-factor he possesses. It's an X-factor similar to Marika Coron-Bette, who plays rugby unlike anyone else and it allows him to do things no one else could. Dave Rennie has learned to use him perfectly, avoiding the instinct to overcoach him and instead allowing him to just fast his way out of situations and over the try line. Very much could have made the team if only we'd got to see him play in the autumn. Elsewhere, Josh Adams is an eternal runner-up here, and he was, as ever, sublime in everything he does, and Lewis Rees-Zammit was a real breakthrough star for Wales this year. His sheer speed a huge factor in Wales' Six Nations title. Anthony Watson excelled for England prior to injury, and even played well for Bath, which is a sentence I can say about, 2 players this year? Mapimpi's partner for most of the year, Beauden Barrett, was quietly excellent on every touch he got. Beauden Barrett was one of the All Blacks' real weapons this year. Andrew Keller had a hell of a breakthrough season, becoming one of the great technical wingers of Test rugby in just a few months. Kataru Matsushima was one of those thrilling sights in world rugby whenever he got the ball. Rona Lloyd and Bevan Parsons were absolute rockets to watch. Players who can just pull something out of nothing, usually right when their team required it. Parsons, in particular, is only just getting better. It's such a shame we won't get to see a play in the World Cup next year. Damian Penno is a rare player who played the entire year for France and remained a spectacular box of fire and fury, ready to explode into unbelievable action at any moment, a trait he shared with Caroline Bourgeard, who really made this shirt her own this year. Monty Ioane was not only key for Benetton, but one of Italy's best and hardest working players all year, while Freddie Stewart established himself for Leicester early in the year, but showed in the second half why he's also going to be England's fullback for a very long time to come. Hugo Keenan was similarly solid, really nailing himself in as a successor to Rob Kearney, whilst another veteran, Gaston Mieres, had an excellent year, shifting from fullback to wing for 2021. But last of all, it's time for the annual mention of the Queen herself, Jasmine Joyce. Super Jazz is an absolute phenomenon. 6 years into her career, I think it's now safe to say Jazz is in the hallowed tier of Shane Williams, Gareth Edwards and Gerald Davis as the most exciting players Wales has ever produced. Every time she touches the ball, you stand up in a seat, you think a try might be on, no matter how well boxed in she is. She's also an unbelievable defender and was brilliant for Team GB in the summer. There's no better way to end this list because there's no player who feels like more of a treat to watch than Jasmine Joyce. Thank you for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the first of the Team of the Year. We'll be running back through the team over the next few days, doing them over consecutive days as ever. So coming tomorrow will be the centres. Whoever is going to be in the centres will be found out then. That is currently being finished right here behind me by Mammal. And then, we'll be going back over them. We're trying to run over more of them. It's all happening. It's all happening right here. Loads of stuff's happening. I've also got the Six Nations to come. We've got more stuff coming in between then. We'll see you tomorrow for the centres. That should do us. Bye. Goodbye. It's Nick Tompkins.
Oh, I see. We cried our heads off, and you knew all along it would be all right.